great and spacious building, the fine linens, all of these things that people were able to enjoy in that great and spacious building. Isaiah describes that in even greater detail in his visions and revelations. And then just as Nephi sees the fall of that great and spacious building, Isaiah speaks of that as well, and so Isaiah really had a kinship with Nephi and Nephi with Isaiah, because so much of what the Lord had personally revealed to them, there was so much symmetry between the two. And so Nephi had this connection to Isaiah to use as a model and as a way of showing his children, I've had this vision. This is what the vision is teaching. It's not just me who's had this vision. Look at this prophet Isaiah. Read his words. Understand what he's illustrating and what he's teaching you. And you can see that Isaiah clearly supports the visions, the teachings, and the understanding that Nephi was delivering to his posterity. And today, what do we get to take advantage of? We have Isaiah's, we have Nephi's, and like we talked about earlier, we have modern prophets who are all in unison in teaching us these things. And it's like we have to have it that way, because we can be so hard-headed and so stubborn at times that we really need as many forces as possible showing us and teaching us, here's what's happening around you, pay attention and change your ways. Align yourself with the Lord so that when this fall occurs, individually, as a society, as a nation, as whatever, when this fall occurs, you are already set and ready to go to be led through that tribulation with the Lord.
Well, and where do the prophets always lead us? Well, they lead us to personal revelation. I mean, Moses said, I would that all of Israel would be a prophet. Mm-hmm. And the Lord wants us to be able to have a personal relationship with him, to be able to learn and receive truths and have these visions and understandings on our own. Mm-hmm. And last week we were... I made the joke to you. I said, Isaiah's a lot easier to understand when you already understand it.
Yeah.
But that's what you're saying about Nephi.
Yeah.
Is that he came to these conclusions and he had these visions on his own.
Yeah.
And then when he goes and reads Isaiah, he can relate to it. Mm-hmm. And he can liken it unto himself so much more purely, because he had personal experiences with the Lord. He had personal revelation about his own life and his own day. And then he reads Isaiah and he's like, yes.
Yeah.
Like I
totally get it.
I relate with this. I understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So he prepared himself in a way that he was able to get more out of it. And one thing that these prophets have in common, the people who are successful in the gospel, is they find passion for the gospel. They find passion for prophecy. They find passion for these things. And that comes as in part through the experience of applying the gospel and tasting of that fruit and experimenting on those seeds of eternal life. And when you start to have those experiences and gain that hope and gain that living faith, well, then you start to find passion. You start to dive in deeper, and you start to
becomes who you are. It's so interwoven.
Right, and that's these great prophets. That's they all have that in common, is that they find some aspect of the gospel that they're very passionate about, mm-hmm. and that becomes a fuel and that drives them in it. And even though they're just men, they're able to do great things. The Lord is able to use them and consecrate them because they're putting themselves out there. They're willing. They're passionate about it.
Hit that like button, leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it.
They may seem like little things, but liking, commenting, it helps the algorithm push our content out to more people. So it's our small way of sharing the gospel in a social media age.